Hey everyone, Leo with the Dreaming Tree, and welcome to the assembly video for our Jolly Jointed Christmas mouse. Now we just finished up a brand new bundle, the Jolly Jointed Merrymakers SVG bundle, and as you can see here, I've got Mrs. Claus, our Jolly Elf, and of course the one and only Santa. And they have been quite the hit. And we wanted to release a little coordinating freebie to go along with the three characters. And in this case, it'll be a cute little mouse. So for those of you that just found us and you're putting this together with us, welcome. Please take a moment and hit that subscribe button so that you can get notifications anytime we release a new product, whether it be paid or free. And as usual, you want to make sure that you have all of your stuff cut out, just like I do here in front of me. I kind of started to lay some things out just to make it easier on myself, and we're going to begin by putting together the mouse's extremities here. So we'll start with the arm, and the arm is 2 layers, so we're going to take and glue one layer to the other. And obviously there's a left arm, right arm, and you want to make sure that the 2 pieces match up and sit perfectly on top of each other. Get your glue on there. And everything's flat, so we gotta lift it up here. I did ink this project throughout in various places, and I'll point out exactly where once we get to those places. Did ink the hand here. Most of this is gonna be covered up by another piece, which is why I did not ink this section. And then we're gonna put this red piece on next, and I inked almost the entire red piece up to the cuff, and I didn't ink the cuff because we have a white glitter layer that's going on top of that. Okay, so pop that on there, and of course you'll repeat this process with the other arm as well. Now, a quick little tip here. If and when you have a dark red like this, a darker red ink usually will not show up. Go with purple instead. Okay, so to finish off one of the arms here, we're going to grab this little glitter piece, and you can see that I also inked this with a little bit of turquoise. Now on the glitter, sometimes, most times, I like to use a chalk-based ink because it does kind of show up better on the glitter compared to a dye-based ink. Okay, so there's one of the arms. We'll do the same thing with the other one real quick here. Okay, we'll grab the top layer. They're both the same, so it doesn't matter which one you call the top or bottom layer. Just make sure you get the correct one, because obviously this won't fit on there unless you flip-flop it. But I want my texture to be facing up. This is American Crafts cardstock. One side has texture, the other side is smooth. I prefer the texture, both because, well, it looks nice and photographs very well. It really just absorbs that light. Okay, so just like we did the first time, I'm going to grab this red piece here and pop that right on. I'm using the little hole where the brad will ultimately go as my guide, and of course, obviously the outer perimeter of each of the cuts. And then finally we have the little cuff, and we'll pop that right in place. Very quick and easy. Now this is kind of a good introduction to the projects on Dreaming Tree because it'll walk you through downloading, importing, cutting. This isn't exactly a 3D project. I mean, it is, but it isn't. But either way, just follow along. We do videos for all of our projects. Okay, so the feet here, we also have 2 layers. So find the 2 coordinating and corresponding feet and just pop them right on top of one another. I did ink this. This is AC Blush, and I inked it with a nice pink color. So we got 2 layers there. Okay, we'll grab the next foot, throw a little bit of glue on there, and pop that right onto this layer here. Just matching it up so it sits perfectly on top of the other piece. Okay, so there's our foot. These are little cheeks, and then we have the little thighs of our little mouse. You'll notice that on one side, above the little cutout for the what do you call them? For the brad, you'll notice that there's a little dash or like a little line, and that is the side that goes by the brad up at the top. Okay, and now these are a little bit different, so make sure that when you match these up, one sits on top of the other perfectly. Because if I take this one, you'll notice that if I try to line up the holes, you see a little bit of the other one behind it. So we don't want to do that. Just make sure you grab the right one and put it right on top of the other one with the little score mark up at the top. Okay, so there's that one. Very simple. Give that a quick press and then move on to the next one. And I just realized that I forgot to paint one of the brads. It's not necessary, and I'll get to that here in a second. I'll show you what I mean by that. What I wanted to do was get the brads so that they blended with whatever color the brad was sitting on, and we'll get to that in a second here. But anyway, so the extremities are done. These are all little individual pieces that we'll put in place here in just a moment. And here are the main layers of our mouse. We're going to start with this. This is actually blush, just like the feet. Okay, I did ink around the ears here. And then this is AC Latte, and that's going to go on just like this. Okay, so we've got a lot of surface area here. And then we kind of have the little outline of the ears. So we do want to make sure that we get a little bit of glue on that as well, so that doesn't come ripping apart or ripping away from the project. Okay, we do have a lot of little areas here that we need to get glue on, so you're going to have to work quickly if for some reason you aren't able to get it first time around. I'll show you a little trick because I'm sure I will run into the same problem. Okay, you can already see there's little areas here where the glue is already drying, so hopefully we'll get it. I'm using the little hole at the top as my initial guide, and then just kind of scanning down the rest of the project, or the rest of the mouse, to make sure that everything else is lining up accurately. And it is. And I will definitely need to use my little trick on the ears, because that part didn't really work out very well. So if you have, which I'm sure you do, a little scrap piece of paper, I typically cut these with my little paper cutter, my paper trimmer, and make little squares like this. I put a little bit of glue right at the very edge of my paper, and since there's no glue on the bottom, you can literally glide it on top of the underneath layer here. Just slide it right underneath where I need that glue to be, and I'll just kind of paint it and brush it on there. And then I can press that down and get that exactly where I need it to be. Same with this side. Just paint a little bit of glue on that little loose area and press that down. Okay, perfect. All right, so next we're going to put the little dress on. Okay, and throw some glue on this. This is getting smaller now, so less surface area, shouldn't have a problem getting glue on the entire thing. Go easy on the glue. You don't want to cake it on, because anything too thick of an application could potentially wet the paper to the point where you'll start to see, well, the warping, and we don't want that. Okay, so we'll press that down. Got that in place, and kind of starting from the bottom and building up, we'll grab the hat, and let's get that glued down. Just like that. Using the little hole at the top as my guide, making sure everything is nice and centered, like that. Okay, there we go. All right, so now, working my way up, we have some of these white glitter sections. I'm going to take this one, And this is going to be the bottom part of the little Christmas hat or the little winter hat. And that goes right here. So just line that up with the very bottom and the scallops there at the bottom. Press that down into place. And then we have a little pom-pom. Now before we glue this down, I just want to make sure that I'm getting it lined up correctly. Okay, so this little scallop here, the large one, is going to be right here on the left. So I'm going to try to keep the orientation aligned with where it needs to go so that I don't accidentally put it down wrong and then get a bunch of glue where I don't need it. Okay, so let's get that in place. Using the little hole as my guide, like so. Perfect. Okay. Now we have this piece here, and that's going to go right here, like so. Let's flip it over and apply our glue. Okay. I know many of you have made the entire trio of characters from our Merry Makers bundle, and I got a feeling that this will it hasn't even been that long. You guys have been busy, like a bunch of elves, making these in your craft rooms, which I think is great because these are adorable. Okay, so let's get that where it needs to be. There we go. Make sure I got that on there accurately. That looks good. And I think you're going to be excited to see our little mouse. And for those of you that made all of them, you're going to want to finish up the, complete the set, as they say. All right, so now with these little cutouts here, we have little pieces that are going to kind of go in like a little puzzle piece. Okay, so let's do the facial features real quick. And I'm going to go easy with the glue here because we don't, not a lot of surface area on here, which means that we are not going to need a lot of glue for it to stay in place. And we also don't want to risk blemishing the project. So go easy on the glue and just pop that right into the little cutout there for this piece. See how that looks. That looks good. I did ink that with a little bit of a pink. Okay, let's get the rosy little cheeks in place now. There we go. Pop that right into the circle. There we go. And that one looks good. Grab the next one and pop that right in. And then we have some eyebrows. Actually, I think those are kind of like the eyes. He's kind of squinting. He's smiling, and his eyes are just kind of half closed, I guess you could say. Okay, let's pop that right in there. Should fit perfectly if you've got a semi-decent cutter. I know when we switched over to the Cricut Maker for all of our production work, and I feel that, oh, not good. I just put glue on the wrong side. I might have to recut that. That's okay. You can always put another layer on top. I just want to show you where everything goes. Okay, I'll pop that right in there. Just like that. Okay. And then we have the little belt, which we need to glue down. Now this is cardstock going on top of glitter. If you are faced with that same fate, I would add a little extra glue on the back of this to really help it make contact, because it's not going to take and set as fast as it would if it was cardstock on cardstock. You are going to have to apply some extra pressure, some downward force, until it fully takes. Okay, we do have a little gold belt buckle that goes on top of that black piece that we just put down. I'm going to put literally just a couple tiny little dots on the back of this, and you can decide which side you want that little belt buckle on. I'm going to go with it on the right hand side there. And then we also, it's a mouse, so he's got cute little teeth. This little white piece Just 2 little dots of glue will do. And we're gonna pop that right on this section here, and it should match up with the previous little section where the tongue and the mouth is, just like that. Okay, which leaves just the portions that we need to use the brads on. Now I have 2 brads that are still drying right now, but I'll just show you how it goes together. Mine are gonna look a little different in the photograph once we post it, but you get the idea, okay? And we're gonna take and pop the brads through. This is the correct color brad for this guy. We're using red there. Okay, and then we'll flip it over and just spread those apart. Do the same thing with the other side. And he is turning out super cute. I guarantee you're gonna be right back at the site here downloading this little guy. He is really, look at how cute that is. By the way, these little holes here where his whiskers are, you can, if you want, if you feel comfortable, if you want to paint the whiskers on or draw them on, you can, or you can just leave it as is if you don't feel comfortable doing that. Again, this color that I'm putting on here for the brad, that is going to change. I'm just showing you how it works. Now remember to put the side with the little marker behind this section where the brad actually goes. Okay, I don't think it's a huge deal, but based on how it was designed, that's how we intend it to look. And just kind of passing that along to you. Okay, we'll pop that through. And push those off to the side. And then of course we have the little feet. And again, the feet will go behind as well. And these I can actually keep. So I only have to, let me see, is that right? Oh no, I'm sorry, they go behind. Yeah, so I need to paint, I have brown brads that I actually painted. Now if you're painting brads and you don't have the correct color, keep in mind that if you have a brown, if you need to make it lighter, add a little bit of white. If you need to make it darker, add a little bit of black. Okay, so that's a very quick and easy tip, and that goes back to Art 101 from a long, long time ago. Okay, so there's our cute little mousey. And finally, right on his collar there, we've got some holly that we're gonna put right about there. There's 3 little circular sections there in the center where I'm gonna take and apply some red rhinestones to mimic the berries on the holly leaves. And you'll notice that in the center of these are a series of score marks. You wanna take and just grab it like this, push down in the center, and then pinch it at the tip to give this a little bit of dimension, okay? And then I'm just gonna take and pinch it at the tip, holding it with these 2 fingers, my thumb and my middle finger, using my pointer finger to push down while I use these to push in, and then work your way towards the tip and pinch it all the way at the tip, okay? And then this is gonna get glued right here, like that. Again, I am gluing cardstock to glitter, so you wanna be patient. Make sure it's nice and centered, and voila. And there you have it. Okay, so there is my little mousey. The only thing I need to do is just swap these out. I actually have some brads that I painted and actually threw some glitter on as well, right onto the paint while it dries, and it'll kind of blend in a lot better with this this white glitter. Also, one thing to note, if you want, you can take either a marker or a pencil, and right here in this little circle, you just kind of fill that in with a little bit of black. I'm using just a pencil to fill it in. I might darken it a little bit with a very fine tip marker just to make it a little darker, because that looks kind of strange. So I will need to find my fine tip marker to fill that in a little bit more. Also, if you want to draw some whiskers, this should be mostly flat here if you've got them put into place. What I would do is just kind of practice this sort of stroke for the whiskers. Figure out what length you need it. I would probably do it with a pencil just to be safe. And I'm not going to do it right now because I'm still on the fence on whether or not it needs it. Also, what you could do is just with a ruler. Obviously, you know, the whiskers are going to be going this way. You can make them straight. You just throw a ruler on there and just kind of do it like that. That's up to you. They were a little too thin to cut on the cutter, so we just left it as is, and I still think it looks great, so I wouldn't really worry about it too much. But there is our little mouse, and you can see it's kind of a big little mouse. Just to give you an idea of just how big he is, or she, excuse me. But anyway, super cute, and definitely will blend in nicely with the rest of our merrymakers. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, as I mentioned, please visit us on YouTube, hit that subscribe button, and also hit the little bell so that you get notifications anytime we release a new product, whether it be paid or free. And if you make this or anything from our Jolly Jointed Merrymakers bundle, I would love to see it, and so would the rest of our community. So head over to your Facebook and do a search for Dreaming Tree Group, or you can type in this little URL that you see here at the bottom. So merry making, and as always, I look forward to crafting with you again. Hey, thanks for crafting along with me. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, check out some of our other videos, and also please consider hitting that subscribe button. And don't forget to visit our site and check out our free SVG section, where we have over 140 free SVG files complete with assembly videos. I look forward to crafting with you soon.